like love, love, love and music. La la la, love, 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 love and music. Love,
love. Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am Jenni. This is Jenni's Corner. This is another edition of Car Conversations or Jenni's Corner. Okay. It's not that cold today. It's still cold. Now, don't get me wrong. But I can just wear a nice little hoodie. You know what I'm saying? My own hoodie. Worry about the business page. You hoodie. You can buy one in the description box below and everything. I hope everybody's having a great Wednesday. It is pre-Thanksgiving Day. I'm going to work for a few hours. I got a couple packages in today. So my backseat is crazy. Well, my trunk in my backseat is a little bit crazy, but whatever. I don't know how I'm going to shit in my house in the cold when it's dark. That's going to drive me crazy. I might have to leave them in my car until tomorrow. It's pretty, just stuff everything in my trunk. That's neither here nor there. If you have not done so already, please take a moment to subscribe to my channel and become a whole J-Bird. Hello to all my J-Birds, y'all, to all my J-Birds and everything. So, I don't usually review this show, but I always watch it. It's Flipping Out, which comes on Bravo, and it's been on the air like, I think this is like season 10 or 11 or maybe season 12. But it's been on the air for, for years and years on Bravo. With Jeff Lewis and him being he was flipping houses in the beginning. Why am I getting all tongue tied? He was, he flips houses, he designs houses and all that thing. So it's him and his business and his boyfriend or whatever and his baby. So it's a whole thing. But he also had assistant Jenni. So I'm assuming people who watching this maybe watch the show, or you may not. I'm not sure. But the reason I titled this Flipping Out Toxic Friends with a question mark, Jenni and Jeff have been friends for years. They're like brother and sister and everything. They've just been through everything together, okay? And over the years, of course, they've had arguments here and there and whatnot. So, last night was the season finale, and we had been hearing about the big blow up between them two. We heard about how Jenni allegedly filed a grievance against Jeff to the higher-ups within the show, saying how he was cruel or mental abuse and all these things that he says she did. She then say she never filed anything. I'm assuming she just probably complained about how the whole thing went down, but nobody knew exactly what happened. All Jeff had been saying for a while was basically because he knew the show was going to air it, he kept on saying how we got into a little bit of an argument like we had before. I didn't think it was a big deal, but it turns out it was. So no one knew what the argument was about or the details of it or how it happened. So I'm tired, y'all, so I'm just laying back. But the show aired last night, and it was so awkward and so hard to watch as a fan of the show. It just played out so crazy. So Jenni, of course, is Jeff's assistant. She's been Jeff's assistant for the whole show, all these 10, 12 years and whatnot. I can say she's always been very, very involved and never seemed like she didn't want to be there to help or whatever. When she was pregnant with her first and I think her second kid, she was there pregnant, pregnant, fat feet, all swollen feet, swollen ankles, all this stuff, working because Jeff needed it. So, she was a dedicated employee. However, Jenni also had dreams of her own. Jenni also wanted to be, be like an actress, on TV shows, what I'm saying, or whatever. That was also her dream. We know that, over the years, she talked about it here and there, whatnot. So they had some lady, they friend, I forgot who the lady is, but they had a friend there who was on the show before. She came in and gave a whole little seminar speech about, being positive in the workplace and always knowing what your dream is, and making sure what you really want in life, that you're doing that or whatever. It was all this inspirational stuff. And when she was asked, they was like asking each employee, like, what is your, dream, or like, what's your point of, life or whatever. And one person, oh yeah, I went to school for architecture or whatever, so I like that, but I'm here or whatever. Jenni also brought up how, I've been, I work here too, but I used to, I did want to be an actress or whatever, and I've, not necessarily been full-time going after that because I'm here, but I also wanted to act. And so we could see that aggravated Jeff. Aggravated him, like, I don't know why she wants to bring that up. This is about my business. Da, 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 da. So we see that little bit of a part. So it's like, it was in parts. It was in like part this, part that, part whatever. So then they're going to like the light store to pick out some lights or whatever for the lady's house. And all of them in the car. Jeff is in the car, the lady in the car, Jenni in the car, Megan, and also this other design person. They all in the car going together. And it was so tense because Jeff is like Jeff feels like Jenni's saying, I'm here, even though I wanted to do something else. It was her saying, like, Jeff is the reason she isn't further along in her acting career. And I don't think at all that's what she was saying. I think she was saying, I've always been here, even though I wanted to do other things. And there have been times where I always need gas. I'm gonna stop against her. But somebody quotes like, you always need some gas. Hey, it's cold. But I think she was just saying, like, because she was saying, like, there have been times where I didn't go on an audition, or even though somebody was offering me to come in and, read for a role, I didn't do it because I knew if I got the role, I would have to be gone for like 2 weeks or whatever, and that wouldn't work with Jeff. So it was that little stuff that she was saying, but not necessarily that because of him she wasn't further along. She was just saying what she has experienced, all these years or whatnot, but not really putting it on Jeff. She was just saying what facts of what she believed to be true. So Jeff is like, well, what role that you almost booked that you didn't go to? You're a fucking liar, because anytime you book anything, no matter how big or small, you always tell me, and I know for a fact there couldn't have been this, and you lied about a job or possibly being in a Nicolas Cage movie. And he going and going and going and going and going, and she's like, well, no, that's not true, Jeff. I'm not a liar. I was, I did have an offer, but I didn't do it because, again, I would need 2 weeks off, and I knew I couldn't do that because even though you would have gave me time off to go to the audition, I don't know if it would have been okay with you if I was gone for 2 weeks. And that was all she was saying. And he's like, you're lying, and even how you're saying it is not true. I would have heard about it because all you talk about, I would have heard about it forever and ever. And I'm like, he's going, and I'm like, oh my God, it was so painful to watch. And it reminded me of my topic when I did about toxic friends, meaning how do you know when you've outgrown a friendship? Jenni and Jeff have outgrown their friendship solely based on how Jeff reacted in that moment. Is one, because you shouldn't believe that your friend is a liar. You should not believe your friend of that many years is lying to you, and you're like, you shouldn't even believe that. Like, you should trust, or if you know they're a liar, you accept it. But you don't, the way I was like, it was just bad. It was bad. Oh, I cried a little bit, like two tears, because Jenni was in the back seat and she just looks mortified, like, because it's the equivalent of your best friend who you've been friends with for years telling you, bitch, you ain't shit. You not nothing. Your career is nothing. Your dreams is nothing. You know what I'm saying? Or, you're a liar. It was crazy because at one point he was like, I live in the real world, you live in a fictional world, and I things that are tangible, and I'm like, oh, Jeff is really like, he's really going and going and going and going and going. And it didn't make it any better that the person, I forgot the lady's name, but the person who was a friend of theirs, but they're also working at her house, she's in the front seat laughing. An old white woman, hysterical. And that's what also people don't realize. She had no regard for how laughing at Jeff calling her effing liar, and I would have heard all that. She had no regard for how that made Jenni feel, and it was crazy to see. Oh man, of course my phone will start ringing when I'm. Oh crap! Cause you can't have no songs playing. So let me yell a little bit so it can't really hear. Where's my phone? Oh, right there. So you can't really hear and stuff or whatever. Oh God, I hope that it don't play out too much. But it was what it was. But it's 12 o'clock. But yeah, it was just tough to watch. And Jenni's in the back seat. You see Megan like, oh my God, Jeff, you're going too far. Oh my God, Jeff, you're going too far. I'm not really driving, y'all. I'm slowly getting on the freeway. I'm trying to cut my ringer off. So it was bad. It was bad because Jenni's in the backseat like, I'm not lying. That's not true, Jeff. I've said that's not, you're being mean and you're being spiteful and that's not the way to be. And, I can't, why would you think I'm an effing liar? It was bad. I don't know how to say it besides it was bad. So they then get to the light store because they have to get to the light store. And the white woman's still laughing like, ha, 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 ha. At one point or another, she did say, well, Jeff, you're going too far. You shouldn't tell her she's an effing liar. But she kept laughing and not making the situation any better. And I feel like when you see two friends arguing, you don't make it worse by laughing like that. When it's no longer funny, now Jenni was clearly, like, it wasn't a joking matter. I'll say that. And the two assistants in the back seat, they're like, no, that's not nice. It's not nice. So that happens. They go to the light store. Jeff was like, I should be an interrogator because she's lying. And he keeps going. I'm looking like, and Jenni just looks like she's just so sad or whatever. So they have that. They then go out to eat. I'm like, why are they still together? It's just crazy. At the restaurant, she brings up how, she used to want to be on SNL and all this other stuff. That's going, wait, the dinner may have happened before. They went out and ate and, no, it was not at that time. She then said how, I didn't know you wanted to be an actress. Like, well, yeah, I was, was going to go out on SNL, blah, 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 blah. And all of that, okay? And then they in the car, and they're like, well, Jeff, you probably should apologize. Okay, because at the table, it kept going further and further and further of them talking about this and talking about that. And he kept questioning her about all this stuff. And it was just awkward as fuck. So in the car, when they're like, you should apologize, whatever, he's like, well, for what? I don't, it wasn't an issue. You know what I'm saying? It was fine. And Jenni in the back seat, like, on the verge of tears. And when the lady said, well, Jenni, how do you feel? And she's like, I just can't. And she starts bawling, crying, because she was holding it in. Because it's her friend who told her that she ain't shit, ain't never gonna be shit, and he shouldn't blame her because she ain't shit. It's basically what happened. And I'm like, oh my God. Why is the traffic on the freeway? Why is it this much traffic on the freeway? Oh my God. I'm like 2 exits away. And this is crazy. I don't know if there was an accident. Okay, y'all, I'm sorry. Anyway, so Jenni's in the back seat just crying, bawling, crying, like, I can't believe, he thinks of me like this. I don't want to deal with this anymore. I don't want to work somewhere where someone is just, consistently beating me down and consistently being mean to me. Who would think of me? If you even think that I'm an effing liar, why would I want to be working for you? And I agree. Toxic friends, you always want to be aware, because a person who truly loves you would never think that of you. And if y'all are in the midst of an argument, those kind of feelings should never come out. So that was the definition of a toxic friendship. So I'm like, it was just bad. So then they drive back and like, you know what, Jenni, you can take the rest of the day off, because she was, bawling, crying in the car. And I'm like, I just don't know what to do, because I'm a fan of the show and I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Because it was a train wreck of a conversation. So they get back to the house and they're like, oh, where's your car? She's like, well, it's up there, but let me out here. Oh, no, she's like, no, just let me out here. Like, she couldn't even take it to be around him. And it's mainly because of how and what he said to her. And that's the thing about Jeff. When he gets upset or whatever, for whatever reason, he's a horrible person. Like, he goes in, and it's never good. And it isn't until it's after the fact, it's the aftermath of it, or days later when he's thought about it. And see, nah, it's done. It's my alarm. When he's had time to think about it, he then said, I shouldn't have done that. But it's like, the common sense thing is, you shouldn't have did it in the first place. And you keep doing it, and you talk to people before, and they know that you shouldn't have done it, but you continue to do it like it doesn't even matter. So when they get back to the house, and Gage is like, Gage is his boyfriend. Gage is like, well, what happened? Like, everyone looks like you've been through a fight. And the two designers like, it could be kind of word, like, it was bad, it was really, really bad. Like, what happened? And so Jeff they all kind of downplayed a little bit. Like, Jeff was like, oh, well, Jenni said this and that, and I thought she was, wasn't really true. And they're like, no. He said, I calmly, told, it was a conversation. They're like, no, Jeff, not when you were yelling at her that she's a fucking liar. And they're like, what? So it was just messy. And it was horrible to see as a fan of the show. And, Jeff went and talked to, another friend who said, maybe, it was hard for her to hear from you. And then someone else said, you kind of have to do what's best for your business. Jeff's whole thing is, because he ended up going to talk to Jenni, after about a week. And they meet up, where Jenni feel like they coming to talk about what happened and move past it. And Jeff was there to fire her. Okay? Because he said for him, he realizes he needs to have people in his freeway is crazy. He needs to have people in his business who desires and future plans line up to what he wants to do and how he sees things happening. And I agree with that. You can't have a design firm, or you have a person who really wants to be a teacher. You know what I'm saying? Because those are two different dreams. So eventually they're going to leave to go be a teacher. Whereas if you have somebody there who loves designing and all that other stuff, and they want to move further along within the design world, they're more than likely to stay longer to work with you to build your business. And he keeps hiring people who don't really align with what he's doing. So while I agree with the reason he let her go, at the same time, it was a better way to have that conversation with her and not have it be after a fight. Because he said, I feel like, if I didn't have you working here, you could 100% focus on your acting, that may be better or whatever. And I feel like she probably feel like I wasted all these years working for you and staying for 10, 12 years, and then you fired me as if you never knew I also wanted to be an actress. And that's the part that I was like, well, damn, it was the right thing to do, but I feel like he should have did it a long time ago. She's older now. It's like she's less likely, in my opinion, to book shows and gigs that she thought she could have done before. Should I get off here? Should I just wait and go down to no, I'm gonna get off here. It's the freeway. It's really stupid. But yeah, not that she isn't talented or whatever, or if you're older, you can't book gigs or whatever. But I feel like, for 12 years, she's been not really doing it. And now you release her to do it when you've always known. And that's how it kind of went off. And she was shocked. She was like, I thought we were coming here to have a conversation. We've always had arguments or whatever. And I'm happy he apologized. But never did I think I was coming here and I was going to lose my job. I didn't think that. And so, the episode ended with her being shocked that, he let her go. And Jeff saying, I just felt like it was time, just time to let her go and do her thing or whatever. And, it was just sad to see as a fan of the show. And watching it was definitely different than what Jeff said. Oh, we had a little arguments, like any other, and I thought it was fine, but it really wasn't. And I'm like, no, Jeff. No, Jeff, that wasn't what it was. I love Jeff, and I don't want the show to end. I don't think because they had this rift, the show needs to end. I also feel like just because she does not work for him does not mean she can't be on the show. I feel like they're great friends, and everyone on the show does not have to be somebody who works for him or who's getting work. You know what I'm saying? I think it's fine if, when Zoila started working for him, she wasn't on the show anymore. And I'm like, well, damn, she worked for that man. She was family, his mother. And now we just don't see her at all because she doesn't work for him anymore. So I feel like there's a way to where, you don't have to work for him, but you should still be able to be at least a friend on the show or whatever, because you should still be a part of his life. So that part to me is on, whatever. So, you know, I don't think the show should end because of that situation, and I don't think anybody should be mad at Jenni for that, because truth be told, I don't think Jenni was the one wrong in the situation. I think it was Jeff. I think Jeff got mad, as he said, I was offended. I felt like you were blaming me for, you know, your career or whatever, and I realized I needed a week break. So I realized that I'm pretty sure there are times where you didn't go to a meeting because of me, or there were times where you could have, you know, did this or did that, but you didn't because I needed you here. So he realized what she said was factual. Okay. But he had to, but like, you shouldn't have had to, like, that was clear as day, in my opinion. So I feel like, again, Jeff gets in his moods where he don't realize how offensive he's being to somebody and how crazy his antics are. Okay, because he's just so caught up in how he currently feels, and he doesn't think beyond his emotions in that moment. And, you know, that's why they say you never should react to things that quickly. You have to always stop, take a breath, and think first. And Jeff don't ever do that. And that's why I think the argument got so bad. And it just was sad to watch, baby. I'm telling you, I was like, oh Lord, no. I was like, no, oh my God, it's so painful, oh no. So yeah, the show should come back next season. It really, really should. And I hope Jenni can still be involved in some sort of way. Or if she isn't, that's still fine. But it was just so final. Like, okay, this is the nail in the coffin. And I think they both said since you know, before this episode aired, how, you know, they hadn't talked to each other, whatever, and, you know, things were very, very tense. But hopefully, because the show won't be back on until next year. So who knows what's going to happen between now and next year. If they'll make up, if they'll talk. Because she's the godmother to Jeff's daughter. Okay? So, again, they're like family. But family fall out all the time. You know? That's true. But it was just, so I just had to get that out. You know, sometimes, you have to realize sometimes when it's time to let a friendship go. And I felt like that situation was toxic friendship in your face. You know, when the person who's your friend says things to you that you never knew they felt about you. And that's how you know what? I need to step away from this friendship because it's not what I thought it was. At all. Like, it's not even what you probably thought it was. You know what I'm saying? It's not what either of us thought it was. And so that's my thought process. But I do think it should come back for another season. But I think Jeff was way more wrong than Jenni. I feel like Jenni was just talking about what she wanted. But I'm like, that wasn't a secret. If you've watched the show since it began, from season 1, we've seen Jenni Jenni sings the Andy Cohen Watch What Happens Live intro. We had seen her do little performance, like she had like little songs or whatever. We would see her do like little voiceovers. So we knew that she was trying to dibble and dabble. Her first husband is an actor who first was working for Jeff, and then she started working for Jeff. They were both trying to be actors. So I'm like, it wasn't a secret for me. I think people who didn't watch from season 1 may be like, oh, she was wrong because she was saying how she didn't want to do work. I'm like, that wasn't what she was saying. So I felt bad for Jenni. I did. I was mad at Jeff. And I love Jeff. But I was upset with Jeff. I was like, if you were my friend, Jeff, and if I was Jenni, I wouldn't talk to you anymore either. Because I see how you feel about me now. Okay? So, yeah. Anyway, I'm all done. I will talk to y'all later. Peace.
He's like love, love, love.